Hey everyone, this is Chris, your friendly neighborhood Minnesota comic geek, back for another video. The discussion topic for today is what reprint style comic is best for the comic buyer in the long run and best for the comic industry as a whole in the long run. But before I get started, I would ask that if you enjoy this type of comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future videos. And if you enjoy talking comics, then comment below. All right, let's get into it. So as you see on screen here, I have two different versions of modern reprint single issues that comic book companies, in this case specifically Marvel, have put out. And they both essentially do the same thing, but there is a gigantic difference between the two, and that is the price tag on each variety. The comics here on the left is a stack of about 13 or 14 single issue reprints that were produced under Marvel's True Believers imprint or whatever. But you could get these single issue reprints of kind of milestone comic issues for $1. This book was $1. And you could have the original art reprinted in all its glory, and you could read the tale and just enjoy it for how it was originally presented, at least the comic pages specifically. The books on the right here are Marvel and DC's new interpretation of, I guess, at least my this is just my opinion, their rebranding of the True Believers stuff, the reprints of single issues, into facsimile editions. And the difference being that the issues are reprinted as the entire comic originally came out. Specifically, it has all the original ads in the book, along with the original artwork. Essentially, that is the only difference between the facsimile versions and the True Believers versions, because the True Believer versions, they don't have the original ads. They have new ads, essentially. Modern day ads, yeah. Like that's the only real difference between the two versions, the two different formats here. I obviously have bought some of these facsimile editions, but as a comic buyer, I kind of begrudgingly bought them or buy them, but it's hard to keep going forward buying these facsimile editions given the price tag. This giant size X-Men facsimile edition was $8. That is a modern day price tag for a book this size. A 60 to 100 page new modern book. To me, the facsimile prices feel like just a blatant cash grab that Marvel and DC weren't getting and couldn't get by selling the single issues for $1. They just won't make as much money versus selling one book for $8. And again, these facsimile editions are just just your standard run-of-the-mill reprints. Some I've seen online have some value. They're still reprints. As a comic buyer, it kind of sucks to want to have and be able to read these older issues in single issue format as opposed to buying them in trade format at such a new modern book price. It just doesn't feel right. I know they can, Marvel and DC, and can do whatever they want, with their books and everything. If I were them, in order to nurture the growth of new generations of readers, or reward the generations of readers you still have, like myself, being able to buy single issues of Milestone Comics purely for reading purposes, not to try and keep them and hold them for monetary value. It's I feel like it's more advantageous to give them a cheap option. Once they sell these facsimile editions for a higher price tag, then they're going to be treated like the collectible items that comics are. They may not get read or whatnot. When you're trying to nurture a love for comics, specifically for a younger audience, the more stories and options you can feed them, the better. When I was, just starting out reading comics and collecting them, I couldn't get my hands on enough comics to read and flip through and enjoy. I just wanted more and more and more. Whenever I could get my hands on a new comic, whenever I had got my allowance and could go buy a new comic, that was a happy day. And so, like, even as an older collector, every time I saw like one of these True Believer comics released on the new comic book rack, I didn't even think about it. I just picked it up because these are stories that I had never read for the most part. I got to kind of enjoy them, the stories that I'd always heard about or knew about, but never actually read the actual issue because either they were too old and I couldn't afford them or what. But at a dollar price tag, I'm not really thinking about, can I afford it, or I already have 5 other new books that I'm buying. Do I really need a reprint comic that has really no value, outside of the story? It's a reprint. It won't necessarily be valuable down the road. So at a dollar price tag, I got, like I said, there's like 13 or 14 single stories here, all across the board of characters and whatnot. 13 or 14 different stories as opposed to 3, because these two, the Uncanny X-Men Days of Future Past facsimile editions, are each $5 a piece, and the giant size X-Men's $8, so $18 for 3 stories, or $14 for 14 stories. In my opinion, this is a better value for a comic book reader and buyer than the facsimile editions. I wish Marvel and DC would go back to this model and, like I said, try to help nurture a younger generation of comic book readers, because if you're a parent of a child who wants to get into comic books or has shown an interest, are you going to want to buy them an $8 issue or a $1 issue that they can just read over and over again and more or less destroy while just enjoying it for years and years to come? And that's where I fall. The other issue, and I'll pull up the Facebook Marketplace listing of this, but there's this. I was on Facebook Marketplace. You know, it's a good place to look for comic books that people are selling. But there was a listing for Uncanny X-Men 266, the first appearance of Gambit, and it's a listing for $50. The listing's for a raw version. I had to do a double take and really look at it to realize that it was the facsimile version of the comic. And this was kind of concerning to me because the facsimile edition is essentially identical copy to the original, more or less. They don't change. The only changes are the price tag and the kind of barcode. But for some of the newer facsimiles, the barcode is gonna look pretty similar to late 90s or later kind of book. They're gonna look so similar that if you don't know what you're looking for or aren't skeptical about the price tag, you may not do your due diligence on researching, is it a legitimate copy or is it a facsimile copy? And there are a lot of scammers out there who are ripe to take advantage of unsuspecting buyers. You know, the reason I had pause was that the price tag of $50 seemed extremely low for Uncanny X-Men 266, because even raw copies go for a couple $100, if not more, depending on the condition. You know, graded copies go for, you know, low thousands. I think if Marvel is going to continue with the facsimiles, they need to put on the cover, like even in the barcode area or something, that it's a facsimile edition, because like I said, it's not always immediately obvious, especially with the newer books. I think it's a bad thing to give scammers an easy way to target people. That is kind of my pitch on how I feel about each type here. I clearly land on the True Believers $1 reprint side as opposed to the facsimile side. But what do you guys think? Do you like the facsimile versions, or do you like the True Believer style? Do you like paying, you know, modern prices for a reprint of a single issue of an old book? For those that buy them for the collectability of them, do you think they'll eventually hold some value that merits the cover price? You know, what are your thoughts on this whole comparison here? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know which ones you gravitate towards, if any. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was entertaining and a good topic to talk about. Curious what you guys think. But yeah, if you enjoyed this type of comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, comment below and let's talk some comics.